Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to the Three Good Guys podcast. We are ready to have a good time with y'all this morning or whenever you end up watching it. Let's get the introductions rocking and rolling.
Let's do
it. My name is Miles. To my right.
My name is Rodney.
And to the far right.
Leonard.
And we got some fun stuff to hop into. I think the first question we had is about Diddy. Did he do it?
I don't know if that was the first question, but he definitely did it.
He definitely did it. Because I know you want to hop into it. So I think the question actually was,
can you enjoy the artist, the art, and throw away the artist?
Can we separate art from the artist?
Yeah, because there's a lot of artists who've recently gone down. You've got all the way back to Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Diddy. Then we just talked about Vince McMahon, and the list goes on and on. So, how do you guys feel about separating the art from the artist?
Man,
that's tough. I honestly think, yeah, I can separate the art from the artist. I can appreciate what they do, like artistry wise, and I can just not like them as a person. Just like, sorry to switch it to politics, but there's people whose politics I can align with and not like them as a person. Because politicians are crazy.
Yeah. I know where you're going with that.
So, it's, you kind of have to take the good with the bad. Now, I believe it's almost like God still, let's take it here too as well. God can use people that I don't like. Like, he can.
Okay.
Or,
that's a fact.
Somebody who, there's people in the Bible, characters in the Bible who I probably wouldn't get along with as well, just based upon how they were, but like, I believe God used,
Can't rock with David. Terrible person.
Yeah, I believe God used him.
Especially if your wife is fine.
Mm-hmm.
God. Stay away from that man.
Absolutely. Can't do it. That's rough. So I think there's a separation. So whenever, an R. Kelly song comes on the radio or something like that, like, I'm not going to be like, cut him off.
Okay.
Unless it's like a terrible R. Kelly song. But
yeah.
if it's a good one, I might let it rock.
I honestly think that it's mandatory. We can't live life without being able to do that. Do you know how terrible people are?
Oh, yeah.
Do you know how many people have made mistakes? Or maybe it wasn't a mistake. Maybe they just made terrible choices.
Yeah.
But gave the world amazing things.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, like all those people who owned slaves back in the day.
You feel me?
Who invented all kinds of stuff.
Well, they didn't invent it. Their slaves invented it.
Well, true. But there's some that did. And that actually, owning a slave or being a slave master in the sense of negative slavery, because, there's different types of slavery if we go biblically. But
definitely.
Yeah, that's always a net bad. And I'm always not going to rock with somebody who would do something like that.
But could an artist be so repulsive in their personal life that you do separate from their art?
Yeah,
I think so.
You can with something like art specifically because of how much we don't need art. Like, we don't need another new song from a specific person.
True.
We can always get that from someone else. But the overall thought of, can you separate a person from the things that they've done? Too many people have done things that we refuse to live without, but the person that they are, we also refuse to rock with that.
Here's an example. Like, I heard stories about Russell Wilson doesn't like when people play Future songs in the locker room, right? Because he don't rock with Future, right? So, but then again, does that mean that Russell Wilson can't enjoy a Future song? Now, me, I don't really like Future like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't really care. I can live with him or live without him. I don't care. But he might actually sonically like the sound of it, but he's like, I don't rock with this person so heavy because he has something directly to do with me and my situation that I'm not endorsing anything. Especially now, of course, he's a little bit different because an endorsement from him can potentially make somebody money or to make him money. So anything that he aligns himself with, he can get paid to do or whatever. So that's a different thing. But even when, there's no eyes looking, like, he's audibly not listening to that or doing that because of, his own reason. So I feel like if there's somebody that has wronged me personally and then they have art that separates from them, I might not indulge in any of it for the sake of like, man, I don't rock with them at all.
Yeah.
I got like 3 questions. I'm like dying to ask.
Okay, let me say this and then you get to that.
Mm-hmm.
The founding fathers of America didn't all do things.
No, I get that. We've already established it's way different when it's art because art is optional.
Yeah.
So I want to keep it on art
Okay.
right now.
But even then, absolutely, because the Diddy situation. Diddy's not the only person involved in that. And Diddy has his hand on a whole lot of art and artists.
Yeah, so if you throw away Diddy,
music.
you would have to throw away
You
catalogs.
have to throw away everything that he's connected with because how terrible he is. There's too much music that I don't think people would be willing to do away with.
Okay, I get it. Now, the question I have a couple questions I want to ask. But one is there an artist that has done something so bad that you don't rock with them? Dang, it's quiet in here today.
Dude.
Anybody out there? Like, is there an artist that's done something so bad, like you don't rock with them?
I don't know. I don't know if there is an artist that's done something so bad that I can't hear their music and say, you know what, that's good music.
I didn't say can't acknowledge it's good. I'm
No,
talking
no,
about
no,
you don't play it.
I think
But
it would
here's
have
the thing,
it would
though.
have to go to what I said. Like they would have to have done something to me
It has to be a
personally.
personal thing.
You gotta do something to me.
Yeah.
But
And,
also,
I mean, it sounds selfish as heck, but I mean, it's just the truth.
So it didn't happen to me.
Like I can watch a Weinstein movie tomorrow and I feel nothing. Like I don't care.
Yeah.
But like, but I care about the fact that he did crazy stuff.
Yeah.
Like that sucks and that's terrible, right? And I don't rock with him one bit. But I can consume stuff now. If it has something to do with me directly, then it's almost a trigger in the sense that like even if it's something that does sound sonically good or if it's a great movie or something that I may have enjoyed previously, I can't rock with it now because it's like now it's attached to that. And
I was just trying to see if y'all had an artist, but the way it took y'all so long,
No.
clearly y'all don't have an artist that's y'all like, I can't.
Because probably most artists, I don't listen to them that much anyways.
Yeah.
So it would be like, of course I know R. Kelly music, but I don't actively listen to R. Kelly. Mm-hmm. So throw away R. Kelly is like, okay.
Now,
I mean, I'll be hurt a little bit.
This question is not to you,
okay,
but just think of other people, like the world. Like, could an artist be so dope, it makes it hard to believe the allegations against them?
No.
Absolutely.
Oh, we got some differences.
Yeah, no.
No?
To me, no. But in general, heck yeah.
Oh, as far as like people,
I said not you. I said broad.
Okay, broader. Yeah,
yeah.
You well.
Because
No,
think of this.
It depends on what they do.
Think
though.
of this. Michael Jackson.
Come on now.
It's a lot of kids who have said some stuff. And it's a lot of people who refuse to believe it. And I think they don't believe it just because
the music was that good.
The music was that good.
Entertaining. I mean, but at the same time, though, some of those kids can't.
Yeah, people recanted. But people didn't even want to hear the kids.
But that's the thing.
That's true.
It just depends on money, which we'll get into more. But like, he got a lot more money to go around to make them things go away.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Oh yeah.
And like, it almost goes into that. It just depends on, like in Diddy's case, some people would argue he just pissed off people that got more money than him. Yeah. And that's why he's in the position that he's in right now. Because, most people who wouldn't, he just slide them
some bread and keep it pushing.
And keep going.
Alright, hold
on, let me ask that. I mean,
okay.
We're getting...
Yeah.
So if, per se, something outrageous happened to you, we won't go into detail. You can make your own scenario in your head. And a person has Diddy status or somebody with a ton of money says, hey, we'll settle for $7.5 million.
I'm cashing out. What you talking about? Me? I'm cashing out. Okay, well, first of all...
Before
y'all say anything else, for the camera's sake, ain't no Diddy party stuff happening.
Oh yeah,
okay? Nothing like that.
Ain't nobody been diddling.
Ain't nobody fondling over here. Let's make that clear.
Not at all.
All right. But if something else happened, if I got punched by an artist or something like that, would I settle? Oh yeah, in a heartbeat.
I mean, punch is kind of easy. It would have to be something egregious, like getting drugged and then something happening to you, right? It would have to be that because I mean, if somebody punched me in the face, I'm cashing out every time. They don't never gotta hear about that.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking of because we're not getting fondled.
Yeah,
so,
I don't.
But I'm just saying, if
you got drugged, against your will, okay, so right? This is the question. You got drugged
because you're not getting fined.
Wait. If I found out a guy did it or a girl did it, because if I got drugged and a girl did it, we might just have to cash out. We might just have to take that on the chin.
I got you. I mean, that's just being real. Because I'm probably gonna say the same thing.
Just cash out.
But if a dude did it,
woo!
It might have to be a cash out
and a cash out and crash out.
Yeah. That was thinking like I gotta be able to do something. Yeah, because like, you gonna show up on TV with black eyes. And you're going to have a story that's embarrassing to you somehow.
But to be more serious, like, if I experience SA, no, you can't pay me off. Like, you know, you gotta pay for that, like, criminally.
That's mainly what I was getting.
Yeah.
But I mean, jokingly, of course, like, we're cashing out for the most part.
But no, there's no, here's $100 million I can make. Because I can still pursue criminal charges and then civil charges afterwards.
Get the money.
You can still get money. Mm-hmm. And if not, I'm gonna make money during interviews. I might not make the same amount, but
it's gonna be crazy.
At the end of the day, someone SA you, like, you got to hold them accountable.
You gotta do it
criminally. There's no paycheck that should make that go away. Mm-hmm. Like I said, unless it's a girl. You know, you find out who it was, and you probably be okay with it. You probably be like, shoot, he didn't have to drug me.
If I'm being completely honest, it's not as severe if it's a woman, it's still severe in the sense that I still pursue legal action. Like, I'm not letting them get away with that.
But that goes into one of the questions we asked in the pre-show. Why did I draw a blank right now? What was we asking? About the statute of limitation. Because I said I don't want to talk about this because we're guys, but it kind of works, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you hear about people say, okay, he SA'd me like 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. What do you think about them coming out 30 years later?
Man.
And not pursuing criminal because they can't pursue criminal.
So they're only bringing it up for the sake of...
For the sake of it.
So I have a personal belief. This goes, you can apply this like even reparations. If you owe a debt, this is how when Josh was asking me about reparations, I said, I believe America owes a debt, and until America pays its debt, the debt is owed. And that's how I feel about this.
Okay.
If you SA somebody, until you somehow come back to make them whole, either you go to jail for it, you give them what they're asking for it. You know, I think you owe it
because you still gonna reap whatever you sowed, and whether you reap it 30 years away from the time it happened, or 30 minutes after it happened.
Now, should they be? Because we know the law says they can't. But do you think they should be able to pursue criminal charges? We're talking 30 years later. Criminal charges, like, you got to go to jail now.
There's so much more to factor
30 years later.
I mean, that's so much more to factor in. I think it should be way more difficult to do so, if it is possible. Because, I mean, it is already going to be more difficult because, I mean, evidence and eyewitness, whatever encompass the actual crime or, like, how it happened and gathering all that information. Unless they have, like, a video literally from 30 years ago. And it's just like, okay. But, I don't know. That's really tough. But I think statute of limitations, I honestly can't even put my finger on a solid enough reason to why it works. But I feel like it is something that is necessary.
I do too.
I think statute of limitations is still necessary. I feel like...
And there's certain crimes that there are no statute of limitations. Like... murder, there's no limitation on it. But so to the one lady we have in the room, do you think someone 30 years later should be allowed to be like, hey, you need to go to jail for this? 30 years later.
I'm gonna say...
She's thinking. Oh, she said no. Okay.
No, I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I think, and I know it's hard having to experience SA. You gotta say it sooner.
Yeah, she said you gotta say it sooner.
You have to speak up sooner. And I know that's gonna be hard, and that may be a harsh thing to say, but 30 years later. Like, you know, you get the money or whatever, but criminally, like...
Yeah, I agree with that. And it's hard to say that as a man because I understand that men are typically the aggressors. But you look in Hollywood, they be the victims too. Yes. You know, but we'll stop right there.
Yeah. But also, wait, just along that line, also young boys and teenage men.
Well, see, I got a different view. Yeah. I feel like if it happened to a child, that's statute of limitation. I don't think there should be one, yo. Okay. Because a child may not know how to come forward. It may take them time to recognize and unblock. You get what I mean? Yeah. Like an adult,
remember that
you do it to a 25-year-old. You know what I'm saying? And they wait until they're 60 to say something. Yo, well, and it's not me saying, "Oh, I don't feel your pain," but I'm saying the statute of limitation has reached. But as a child, it may take them some time, and that's why I don't feel like a child should have a statute of limitation. Like,
if it happens as a child, I think I agree with that for sure, because it's harder for them to understand exactly what even happened to them.
Exactly,
and then they now have to work from a different foundation based upon that, and like it may take them years to like unpack that. Or there's some kids that literally suppress that stuff. And they don't even really remember it.
Yeah, until it can take time. So I think if it happens to a child, there should be much longer.
But I mean, even in me saying that, there are people that suppress that are adults, and that happens the same way. To where it is such a traumatic thing that they suppress it, and then they don't ever uncover and deal with it until they're older in age. So. I still think it's valuable, but I think for the most part, it's just a very difficult thing. But I still sympathize with people who have been through something very harsh, and then like I recently heard a story, and it was on basically a young girl was with her father at a concert, or usually at a concert or a game or a game or baseball game, basketball game, something like that. And she was kind of a rebellious child. She's run away a couple times before or whatever. But she went to the restroom on her own and then basically found a random guy to smoke with. I guess some guy came up to him.
Crazy.
And she, at first was all friendly, and then he ended up trafficking her. So, taking her from Texas to Oklahoma. And she was gone for a good amount of months before they were able to find her. She was about 15 or so or something like that at the time. And so like instances of things happening, like something happening like that, and since it's so traumatic, how the tables can turn basically, I can understand somebody suppressing that or like not addressing that or taking years to, and then years later feeling the anger of like, this person got away with this and I want to do something about it.
Man, yeah.
It's tough.
You gotta give, I think the time period should be longer for children, if not indefinitely, because they, like you said, they gotta unpack that. It's not to say adults don't have to unpack that, but as a child, you're a child.
Yeah.
It's just a lot.
Gotta be different rules for children and adults.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
It's tough.
I didn't want to go down the essay road, but I got another question though.
What's up?
Oh, okay.
Because we're talking about Hollywood. So how you feel about these people that come out, like, they, essay me, the Me Too movement, but they got a role in a movie for it. You know what I mean?
Man,
like they knew it. They knew they was going to get a role in a movie. For it.
Like it was like, this person's abusing their power, but I'm aware that they're abusing their power, and I'm going along with it.
I'm going along with it.
I don't consider that's. We were talking about this before. That's prostitution.
Whoo! So you mean to tell me they prostituted themselves and then turned around later and said Me Too?
If I'm understanding this correctly, such and such is a big time movie director. I want to roll.
It's Weinstein. He says, I can put you in this movie.
I got you, but you got it X, Y, Z. And you say, that's such a terrible thing to do, but I'll be there around 2:30. Bro, you agreed Y'all literally came to an agreement.
Okay, hold on. Let me. Can I get your opinion? I'm asking. There's a woman in the audience, and I want to get a woman's response. I'm letting the camera know what's going on. What's your opinion on that?
I agree with mom.
Really?
Yeah. For me,
if we thought Trump got some controversial comments, we're gonna be in trouble today.
For me, you know what? I kind of do look more so lean towards what Miles is saying, because when you've already weighed the consequences, now of course, there's instances. I mean, there's instances where a lot of this happens within a confined time frame. Like, let's say you go up for an interview or for an audition, and he says it right then and there at the audition. If you do this right now, at this audition,
they catch you off guard. You don't know what's going on.
Yeah, exactly. So if that happens, I have more grace for that, but still, you have to comply and say yes. And then two, most people say, well, there's a threat of like he's gonna blackball you from the community, and I can't do what I like. I'm just like, my true opinion is just like, well, you just get blackballed because you're not going to sell yourself.
Because that's what you would do, though, right?
Yeah, that's what I would do. Like, if I just never work in this industry again, that's okay. I'm not doing it for this. I'm not gonna do it and have to do this.
Because I think like you do music, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, if Diddy was like, hey. I'm gonna put you on.
Look, before he even clap and do that, I'm gonna stop you right there. Because right now I'm feeling like I need to put hands on you, and not in the way that you thinking I want to put hands on you.
That's too funny.
I'm gonna stop you right there.
I think again,
but I feel like because we're men, I think we have a different perspective.
Yeah.
I think like a woman probably would feel more threatened.
Let me say
this.
I believe that there should be a difference between adults and children. If it happens to a child, I think it's a different situation.
Yeah, of course.
If it happens to an adult, I almost even want to say if it happens to a woman, we have to view it differently. Mm-hmm. Unless it is the threat of like immediate physical danger. That's a different situation altogether, and come back and get all you can get after that. But if it's just
because
now I'm just not gonna give you this role, well then you have to ask yourself: is it worth it getting into this industry this way, or not?
Yeah, because I don't want to be in nothing that's the entry.
Yeah, like if that's the entry, what happens 10 years later? You get in and you see a 15-year-old coming through, the same director, the same producers.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? Tell the 15-year-old not to pursue your dreams?
And that's that's another thing I think about is like, you know, guys like Harvey Weinstein who got away with this stuff for so long, and all these people came out and said, me too, like, and I'm not victim blaming here, but somebody's got to stand up at some point to prevent it, like to stop this from going on and on and on. Yeah,
I personally don't understand how do I say it? How someone can create an entire like conglomerate where that's the culture. Yeah. And only 30 years later does somebody say something. It's a lot of y'all that had opportunity.
I think that these people know who they're going after. They have to. There's a type.
Oh yeah.
Because
they want to try with certain people.
Exactly.
Got to be.
Because anybody around in my circle, that ain't happening.
It's not.
There's no that's why it's hard for us to believe, because we like, hold on.
Yeah, when Diddy do this?
Yeah, like as soon as Diddy put his hands together and start rubbing, I'm like, bro, we about to fight in here. But nah, it's just different. So I think they know like the people who are desperate or super hungry for, or their parents who are probably not the best parents, and they're allowing their children into circles and places. Mm-hmm. Like, you know, you hear about R. Kelly and him paying off some of the girls' parents that he basically took and everything like that with him.
I want them parents locked up.
Yeah,
right next to
like, you know, they accept the money and stuff like that.
Do the parents need to go down?
100%.
For sure.
That's not a question.
Yeah, for sure. But you know, you got people that are like that, so they know, like, okay, we can't mess with this one, so we'll have to get this one another way, or like, where can we mess with this one at? Like, can we get him? Can we get him to a party? Can we drug him at a party and then make him do things against his will, bribe him or blackmail him with like, hey, look, you did this. I got you on camera doing this because you drugged me. But like, how are you gonna defend this? We're gonna put a whole thing behind us saying you did this. So now you work for me for these reasons. Or you got the ones that are not easy enough to just do this for me, and you know you'll get everything you want.
This is why having Christ at your center is so important. Like you said, they know who they can approach. Like when Christ is your center, like we all depend on Christ for everything. Like even if we got jobs, we still depend on Christ to provide.
Exactly.
So that keeps us from compromising. It keeps us from being like, you know, oh, I got to do this in order to make it in this industry. Well, we'll be like, I'm just gonna do 10 Pure Flix movies. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm gonna be the Christian,
another way,
Christian version of whatever. You know, or I'll go do gospel music or whatever. You know, like we have that because we're totally dependent on Christ. And I think that when you don't have Christ, you make different type of decisions.
Exactly.
You become like, I need this or I need that, and that kind of segues into what I wanted to talk about later. I mean, because we were talking earlier, like, why is it that these powerful men and women always end up, you know, going off the rails and doing all that kind of stuff, or abusing multiple people? And I honestly think it's because they don't have Christ in their life. I believe that Christ teaches you moderation.
Yes.
Like, when you're super rich, super powerful, you start wondering, like, I don't have nobody to answer to, so I'm going to just start testing the boundaries. And you just go further and further.
What can I do?
You got no one to answer to. But, like, as a Christian, it don't matter how rich I get, I always have to answer
to someone.
To God. Like, always. Like, the scripture that says, like, adulterers will not enter the kingdom of heaven will always be in my mind. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
So that's why, like, having Christ is so important, because you'll never get too big to not have to answer to God. And that's why I think it's super important.
Yeah, if you think you're the supreme being, then, you know, that's what corrupts you. The more and more you feel better than everyone else is what messes you up. But when you understand that God has no respect to person, you understand that the ultimate thing that you're trying to impress or trying to get, you know, pass on the back or adoration from is God, is Christ, then you understand that, okay, I'm no good without, like, I don't attain any of this without him.
Yeah.
I'm just like anyone else in the sense that he could have blessed anybody with this. But these people get into the mentality of like, oh no, I'm me.
I'm this.
I've achieved this. I've done all this. This is all me. And yeah, they eventually get so big headed, they get sloppy with covering up the stuff that they be doing. This is why people are getting caught doing crazy stuff.
I'm glad they're getting caught.
Yeah, oh yeah, they need to, because they just think they're untouchable. But
it takes a lot of pride to abuse multiple people.
Yeah.
Like that.
Gosh.
Like that's a prideful
to literally
thing.
take advantage of people.
Yeah, and people have these long lists. I'm like, dang, you didn't
you gotta think about
one or two.
These guys. I mean, it's probably thousands of people they're taking advantage of in multiple different ways.
Yeah.
And they do it every day. And they
with
deal with it every day.
It's just a part of their everyday life.
Yeah.
But I got a question that came up earlier. Why is it so often when we hear about these kind of scandals that sex is in the middle of it with these super rich folks?
I think it's because it's one of the most domineering things that a person can do to someone else. That's one part of it, especially for somebody who is like a corrupt type person or being, or somebody who's full of himself, full of pride. It's just like, I can get the most sacred piece of them, which would be like, you know, something sexual that you can engage with them. Like, I can do that with anybody that I want, basically. And I think that's a part of it. And then also, too, there's certain urges and things that we as humans, whenever we like things that are insatiable to us that we want to feed all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have regulation in Christ, then you don't regulate that anymore. So now it's just like, anytime I want to feel good, I can, and I will, because I have access to it anywhere I go.
Oh,
So they
shut down.
Oh, so they become drug addicts essentially.
Essentially, yeah. Like we said, one is the no Christ, no boundaries. Like, and I know people like, I don't need Christ to have boundaries. Like, you ain't got $1 billion, okay?
Yeah,
you got $1 billion, no Christ, you end up on Epstein's Island, okay?
Exactly.
There's a reason why they was all over there, okay? So you and your broke self, don't tell me about how you got self-control. You don't. You just broke, okay? But
You don't have options.
You don't got the options these people got, exactly. But another thing is, like, I honestly believe that the devil, like, uses sex. I think that's his favorite thing to corrupt people with. Yeah. And I'll give you 2 reasons. One, Solomon was the wisest man that ever lived, and sex is what brought him down. How you the wisest man ever, and you still fall to something as simple as sex? It's got to be powerful. And then 2, the Bible tells us that all sin you do is outside the body, but when you commit sexual sins, you sin against your own self. So Satan is aware of how powerful it is and how destructive it is, and he's utilizing it. And he's going to use the best thing he's got to destroy people, because he don't care if you're a billionaire. He wants to destroy you and use you to destroy other people along the way with your billions. So that's what I think it is.
Yeah, I don't know all the reasons, other than the fact that, like you said, it's one of the most, like sex is one of the most intimate things you can get to somebody. So for many people, it's one of the things that they protect the most. And if they're not willingly giving it, they're fighting for it with all that they have. And there's very few ways to assert your dominance over someone more than that. And also, like you said, it's just one of the most powerful things. You brought up Solomon, but Samson was strong as a man could be, and the only thing that brought him down was his desire to please a woman.
Yeah, Delilah had to have been fine. Had to have been.
With, right? And it's something that I feel like if Satan finds out that something works, over time he's just going to put that tool in his arsenal.
Listen, when Moses was born, what'd he do? Kill all the babies 2 and under. Heard Jesus was being born, what'd he do? Kill all the babies 2 and under. He just runs back the same play over and over again.
Play. And I also think that, like you said, when you don't have Jesus, you don't have a boundary. So like, Christ also teaches contentment. Like, the Bible literally teaches us to be content
in every circumstance.
But we are insatiable if we allow ourselves to be.
Exactly.
If you don't force contentment, you won't experience contentment. And then when you have essentially unlimited money, the Bible says money answers all things. You just keep running to that thing that you have that allowed you to get whatever you wanted. So you do become that drug. You force yourself to be addicted. And the thing that people are addicted to, I don't think it's always even sex, but it's the things that sex brings. So sex brings a different kind of attention from people. Like, you can get attention, but if no one's looking at you like, I want this part of you, then that's a level of attention that you still want. There are plenty of people who are successful and single who get attention, but they don't have a mate, and they feel lonely because there's nobody holding them at night, right? But you can get that from this person, and then from this person, and then them, and them, and them, and it just keeps going over and over and over again. So I say all that to say that I think that it's a combination of what you two said. It's absolutely no Jesus, no boundaries, and when you don't have boundaries and you have something that allows you to reach the limits of everything, like money answers all things, so money will allow you to do whatever you can imagine. Why would you not?
Too many options is harmful in a lot of cases. Having way too many options, it's just like if you're a super rich person, if you're Elon Musk, and you look halfway more decent than Elon Musk looks, because that guy's not a good looking
It's pretty
guy.
bad.
But shout out to Elon in the sense of, he's making his money, right? Okay.
Yeah.
But the money he has can buy you a lot of women. Let's just say that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so if he gets one, And he's like, oh, she's cool. And as soon as she does something wrong, he's like, I can trade her for somebody else who won't do it wrong. Like they don't have to have patience with people anymore, because there's so many people in their mind, and there's so many other people, somebody else out there who's not going to make that same mistake. But they're not willing to work through anything with somebody who, unless it's somebody who's probably, I'll say, unless it's like family or somebody who, you know, they have a deeper attachment to because they grew up with them or something like that. But even that, when people get that much money, you know, a lot of times family doesn't matter anymore. But because he can just switch out, okay, you're fired, somebody else is hired. And like that's how it is. It makes things almost like a drug. There's
to view people as employees in my business.
Pretty much. That's literally how it is. Yeah. When you have that type of money, it's just like, oh, if you don't do it, I'll just find somebody else.
Someone called it FU money.
Yeah,
that's why, because I can literally just say FU to anybody.
Exactly.
And, yeah, that's a crazy.
That's too powerful. That's why I'm like. That's why I say what I said before. I'm like, being a billionaire to me is just immoral. I can't see myself having that much money on purpose. I can't. Like, unless God is just like, you gotta have it, and then I'm just like, okay, that's the only way.
And he's never gonna do that. Yeah, he's never.
Because that's just way too much.
You gonna take this money?
That's way too much for one.
But like I said, I don't know what the threshold is. But when I hit it, I'll let you know.
For sure.
I'm gonna be like, look, hey. That $99 million. That's the one.
That one penny.
I gave $2 million away after I hit that, just to be below the threshold.
Hey, I want to switch gears here. If y'all are done with that,
yeah,
go ahead.
And we can go into the other stuff. But I got a question here: is Kirk Franklin a gospel artist or an artist who writes gospel songs?
He's a gospel artist. He's a gospel artist.
He's a gospel artist?
Kirk Franklin is Kirk Franklin.
Cause look,
and I'm gonna leave it at that.
Cause look,
and you know it's crazy because like there's many phases of Kirk Franklin in my mind because of course we grew up on.
Yes, and we love Kirk.
Yeah, we absolutely love Kirk. Yeah. So don't get that twisted. Kirk, you're a friend of this. Come on down.
Yeah, you can come to the show any day. We in the DFW.
Yeah, exactly. But and so there's certain things. I mean, we'll just get into it. Like,
wait, before you say why,
yeah,
because and please bring that up. Yeah. But so I was having this conversation with my wife, and I was like, I don't know why people be getting mad at Kirk. Like, this ain't nothing new. And I was like, I said Kirk's not a gospel artist, and she was like, what do you mean? I'm like, shoot, like DMX wasn't no gospel artist, but he put a prayer song on the end of every album. Like, just imagine an album full of prayer songs. That don't make DMX a gospel artist. And that's why I was like, he's an artist that writes gospel songs. You know, it's just like the whole question, am I a Christian rapper or a rapper that's Christian? That's really how I feel about Kirk Franklin. I feel Kirk Franklin is an artist, and he writes gospel songs, because I feel like when you're a gospel artist, there's something more sacred.
True. Okay, so I'll say this because like I think Jonathan McReynolds kind of said the same thing. He said in the sense that he's an artist first. He's an artist that's a Christian. And I think the way that he writes his music, because it's not traditional, his music a lot of times can be think pieces. It's like, I'm presenting you this scenario, like cycles or, you know, stuff like that. Like, and it's to the glory of God because that's what his heart posture is.
Yeah.
But it's not your typical worship music. Like, you don't invite him to do praise and worship at your church, although he can do praise and worship. But like, for his discography and what he does, it's not your typical, like, hey, let's put on a worship experience with this. You know, it's not that. So yeah, I think.
Come on over to my side. Come on over to my side.
So we'll talk about Kirk a little bit more. So in the sense that Kirk, we saw a recent little clip, and he's been kind of, you know, getting a little dancey and a little bit extra on stage. And so he's like twerking on one of the Clark sisters.
Twerking on one of the Clark sisters.
Like, and I'm dead serious. Like, go watch the clip. That's exactly what he's doing.
Bananas.
And I'm like, why would you do that? Like,
because he's an artist that writes gospel music.
I mean,
because the gospel artists, there is something. They act more of a sacred. It's like I might say certain things, but I won't say it in a pulpit. That don't mean I think they're wrong to say. Mm-hmm. I just don't think this is the place for them.
That's a great.
And that's how a gospel artist is. Like a gospel artist, in their artistry, they carry that gospelness. Well, he doesn't. Mm-hmm. He acts like an artist. That's not to say he's not saved.
Yeah, like a lot of the conversations we have here, we're not gonna have on the pulpit.
Not gonna have on the pulpit.
And we never like. If somebody did it, and like, well, you talked in your part, like, wait a minute. There's a time and place for everything.
There's a sacred area.
We don't talk about this kind of stuff here in this context. But that's the purpose of, classes and more direct courses and things of that nature. If you present it there, great. You can do that within the church, of course. But when you're in the pulpit and when it's Sunday morning, there's a sacred portion. So, I think... Yeah, I mean,
come
at
on,
a concert, you're right. Because it maybe in more recent time, like
I think it is more recent though. I think it is. I don't think it was always this way, but I think he's gotten more comfortable as a person and more comfortable as an artist. And like I said, I'm not saying what he's doing is bad. Mm-mm. I think he's an artist
twerking on Clark's sister.
Twerking on Clark's sister.
Okay, that's a little bad.
Yeah,
but I'm saying not him as a whole. I'm not condemning him and like, oh, you're not a Christian and you don't love. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying, okay, you are an artist.
But this is what I think though. I think he's a gospel artist who likes pushing the boundaries and finding out where can I actually.
And he pushed himself right outside that gospel artist boundary, right into the artist boundary.
And I say that because. Even when the Kirk is on other folks' non-gospel artists' songs, he is sure to present himself as a gospel artist.
Well,
I'm the one bringing Christ to this. Like, he's very intentional about
I said
No. Because he's an artist that writes gospel, but when he appears on this other thing, he might do something different that doesn't necessarily bring the gospel. He can just be clean or something like that. That's not what he does. He's always the Kirk Franklin that's bringing Jesus everywhere. Intentionally.
Yeah, his music. Absolutely.
Well, that's where he makes his money. But let's just say that let's just put it this way. Every gospel artist was an artist first.
Well,
and
go ahead.
Every gospel artist was an artist first because God bless. So there's people right now in the music industry that are far away from God. Okay?
10 years from now, they'll be making gospel music.
Possibly, right? Far away from God. Or they'll probably never make gospel music. But God still blessed them with the skills of an artist, right?
Absolutely.
So I believe God blessed Kirk Franklin with the skills of an artist. How he dedicates that is up to him. So there could be different... That's what I'm saying. There may be different phases to him to where he's more leaning towards his artistry on its own rather than like him being a Christian artist forward-focused, gospel artist forward-focused. I don't know, but
I have a really hard time seeing someone so intentionally dedicated to presenting the gospel in what they do, and then be like, "No, you're not a gospel."
All right, but wait, do you think Kirk Franklin don't work on songs by secular artists? You don't think he in there?
No,
collabing with secular artists, making secular songs.
I think
with
he does.
them.
I think he does.
That's not a gospel artist thing, bro. A gospel artist wouldn't do that. Case in point, Truth. Truth made it clear.
First, hold on. I want to get because I want to wait. More specific. I want to get into what he said in just a second. Like I will quote him if you want me to, because he went off low key. But I also think that depends on how you view the gospel and where you can stand as a Christian in certain spaces. Because there are definitely folks that you would...
I said he's a Christian. That's
wait. I'm telling you, it depends on how each individual gospel artist views it. That's what I'm saying. Because it could be totally different views, and they can be intentional saying, I desire to be a gospel artist. I'm presenting this art to you guys, not just because I love Jesus, but because my intention is to be a gospel artist. Like first,
so
and
if you have a desire,
work with somebody like Erykah Badu.
If you have a desire and an intention to be something, that means you're not it. Like I want to be an NFL player. I'm not an NFL player.
No.
But if I am an NFL player,
don't do that.
I don't want to be
Don't
one.
do that.
I am one.
Because when I wake up and say, I want to pray to Jesus today, and then I do it, I had a desire and intention, and I did it.
And it was only a desire until you did it. Then it was completed. The desire was.
I mean,
chill out, bro.
I mean,
Box check.
that could be a point, but we're talking about Kirk Franklin here, and honestly, I don't think I've heard anything besides gospel music from him.
But that's what you know of. That's what I'm saying. You don't think he be in the studio with all these artists that he work with?
Sure. He like I said,
you're an artist. We've seen him.
You're an artist in your musical.
He's cleared music for other artists. Like he's cleared music for T-Pain. Like for a non-gospel song, he's cleared music for them.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. Christian artists that's Christian, not gospel. It does not have that. You know.
I think you're thinking too much.
That
you know what, man?
That realm.
Y'all make two good arguments
of sanctification.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
I think y'all saying kind
not
of
sanctification, but it's like sacredness. He don't got it, bro. He's a regular guy who's a Christian.
I think y'all saying like two separate but similar things in a sense. But I'll say this: when it comes to Kirk Franklin, if we're gonna diagnose him based upon our own understanding, we don't know Kirk for sure. We don't know what he does. We don't know. He may not do any of that kind of extra stuff. But in regards to him, I've only ever known him, and if we can go back and even his discography, like he recently was on, I think, Glorilla's album that just came out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a Christian
when he puts his name on it, it's gonna have the gospel on it.
So
100%.
So I would know. Most everyone would recognize him as a gospel artist.
But do you think we're speculating?
But I would say I don't have a problem with somebody saying, just as I use Jonathan McReynolds as an example first. It's like I'm a musical artist first. With that. I'm a musical artist first, and I'm a Christian who's a musical artist.
Imagine if everybody was a Christian and an artist. We still have great music.
But this is why I say it's different. I can absolutely see Jonathan McReynolds linking up with somebody like SZA and just making a song about love.
SZA, she too far out. I love SZA.
Okay,
music.
Well, my point is this: someone who is not making gospel music, this is not a gospel song.
But
his part isn't going to be gospel
Junior
either.
Said, the boy knows where his money come from.
Mm-hmm.
But Kirk Franklin,
he already wild. He going to do a non-gospel song.
No, this is what I'm saying.
Kirk
Franklin can absolutely go and do a song about love. It don't have to be gospel, and it don't have to be ratchet either. Okay. But he's not going to do that. It's going to be Christ-centered.
I got a perfect example. PJ Morton. Y'all know PJ Morton?
Yeah, absolutely.
PJ Morton was
son of Bishop Paul Morton.
Son of Bishop Paul Morton. Gospel in his veins first. Went on to work with Maroon 5. Made multiple non-Christian albums. Well, they're basically love albums. They're not like you can listen to them and you're a Christian. You're not like they're not crazy.
Because his version of How Deep Is Your Love.
I think we're getting off though because I said from the beginning he writes gospel music. That's what he wants to write. He doesn't want to write anything else. That's what he wants to write. So we're not going to be like, well, he doesn't write non-gospel. That's what he wants to write. That's what pays his bread, and that's what he loves writing about because he loves the Lord. Yeah. Despite whatever you see, he clearly loves the Lord.
With what you just said, I don't see how he can be anything other than a gospel music.
Because he was twerking on the Clark sisters, that's why!
I think Christians do stuff they shouldn't do all the time.
Yeah, but not gospel artists.
Gospel artists do stuff they shouldn't do all the time.
Will they get kicked out the gospel artists?
No, they don't.
Realm and straight into the artist realm.
But
he's an artist.
I got something. I'm gonna quote the truth right here. I'm gonna just because this verse is wild, and I want to know how y'all feel about it.
I agree with it 100%.
Oh, well, let me at least say it.
I
know, but let me say it so other people can hear it.
By the way, before you say it, truth, if you happen to stumble across this, I am your biggest fan.
Hey,
okay, so go ahead.
Did we send this clip to the truth?
Absolutely,
we're sending this to him because we love you. You know what I'm saying? Anyways, old song, but Truth said this: I know some dudes that are Christians that produce for the wicked, and I know some musicians that use the gift in the church. But the same musicians that use their gift in the church produce and play for the wicked, but they call it work. And then in the background it says it's a cop-out. And they try to justify, say it is just a job. That's a customized line that they use to compromise. Just adjust the knob on your radio. Here we go, another song a saint produced is producing less lies. It's another side to the coin. I know I know you know where I'm going. This is producing and trying to stay employed. And I'm so convinced that it's more. Because it's these same producers with writers, they wouldn't write for Playboy.
Oh boy, I know it sound kind of stern, but if they majored in communications, they wouldn't work for Howard Stern. They're more concerned about the dollars earned than they are God's glory. And I ain't talking out of turn.
When you're helping the same people that's working against the kingdom,
you ain't taking it back by force. You're making matters worse. And they all try to get off by saying, I ain't the star. That's like saying, I ain't robbed the bank, man. I just drove the car. Or backed it up on the Clark sisters while I'm at it. Okay? It's the same thing.
You don't got to shoot the ball to put points on the board. All you got to do is pass up the other team's score. So even if you're on the board... No, let me read it because I want to mess it up.
Because you messing it up.
So even if you're on the board, you still get discharged on that tour. By the way, God didn't open that door.
Oh, you know what? I love that. That's the part we need to dig into. People love to give God credit for things God ain't got nothing to do with. You went out here, you made this crazy album that ain't got nothing to do with God, and then you want to get up there and say, thank you, God? I mean, we thank God for waking up every day, but our decisions throughout the day, we want God forgive us for those decisions. And it's the same thing with some of this music. Like, people do.
Well, yeah, I can say for a fact, if you're making a song that goes against the gospel, I don't think God had anything to do with that.
Yeah, directly,
not the God of the Bible.
Yeah, directly against the Bible, yes. When somebody gets up to thank God, I'm always going to take it for the face value. And then I hope they're talking about the same God I'm talking about. Because that's one thing. That's a whole other thing.
That's another thing.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't put too much stake in that in regards to like they shouldn't or should. It's just like some people don't know any better. So they're going to thank God and they're going to be like, well, yeah. And if they're truly seeking Him and truly want Him to be at the forefront, then they'll be like, you know what? God probably wouldn't like this album that I put out. But I'm thanking Him that I'm able to do what I'm able to do.
Yeah, like I said, I thank Him. I wake up every day, but I'm not going to blame Him for every choice I make.
Exactly.
Okay. But back to what the truth actually said, pretty much you calling yourself a Christian, but you are actively producing music that goes against the kingdom. Is that acceptable? He's saying God didn't open that door for you.
Yeah, I wouldn't put music out there that goes directly against the kingdom.
Yeah. Yeah, like there's a difference, and I think we all agree with this. There's a difference between I love this woman, I'm gonna make a song about her. It's a good day outside, I'm gonna make a song about that.
You can make a song about situations. You can make a song about places that you've been. You can make songs about things that are not directly against the Christian, against God.
Yeah.
But if you make things that promote or things that are against,
that's what I'm saying.
God represents.
Like, this the op. We're gonna slide, and then you go there and be like, I want to thank God. It's like, bro, you look kind of silly. Yeah. So I think we're all in agreement.
But I would still like, even with the truth verse. If somebody like I said, PJ Morton, a lot of the music and things that he was a part of. Now I can't speak to every single piece of music because I don't really know, but majority of everything that I've heard by him does not go directly against God. It's more so love music, love songs, whatever it may be. But you wouldn't necessarily treat it as Christian music or worship music. But I don't think worship music is appropriate in every case.
It's not.
I don't think so.
And Christian music is appropriate in every case and sense. We talked about this a while back. That whole TD Jakes Love album or whatever.
But we don't want to hear it.
We don't want to hear TD Jakes before we get in the mood. Okay? We don't want to hear Jakes.
We go on Spotify. We put on a 90s R&B playlist and let it play. We don't put on Satin Sheet Slide by TD Jakes.
Exactly.
That's hilarious. But here's my question with that right there. So we don't want to hear Bishop Jakes before we get in bed. Makes all the sense in the world. But a Christian who does make us, I don't know, working with Tank on the album. And, Tank got some songs that I have a very hard time saying this music is, it just don't line up with Scripture. I have a very hard time saying some of these songs line up with Scripture. Is that acceptable? Knowing
I think
the heart of some of this music was coming from, exactly where some of this music is going to, and
I think it is. Whatever your contribution has to, your contribution. Like, okay, Kirk Franklin, we use an example. He was just on Glorilla's album. Every song on that album I'm pretty sure Kurt Franklin does not agree with himself. But the
wait. Neighbors Know My Name. Neighbors Know My Name.
Okay.
You produced that track.
But hold on. What's wrong with neighbors knowing your name?
Don't act like you don't understand what's going on.
No, I'm serious.
Well, wait a minute.
Because you could be married.
Exactly.
This is my point.
Neighbors could know your name.
You are aware that this music is not going just to married folks.
How you use it ain't got nothing to do with me.
You know that like it's not even promoting something like that. Maybe you promoted a song that talks about copious amounts of alcohol consumption, drugs. You promoted a track where a rapper talks about whatever he did to a woman that he shouldn't have done that he just met. Whatever the case may be, you understand that there's a ton of mainstream music that goes directly against the gospel.
I just want to
produce one of those songs.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to be very clear. If you talk about a song where it's like, oh, I'ma shoot you and kill you when I see you, pew pew. Okay, that's Chocolate Dropper, right? No, I'm not doing that. But if it's a song about, girl, I love you, and tonight is about me and you, come home, don't worry about nothing, I got it from here.
I'm gonna rub your feet, I'm gonna rub your back,
and I'm gonna rub more than just some feet.
I'm gonna rub,
you know what I'm saying?
Because sex is not inherently wrong.
No,
so
I agree with that.
You can make songs about sex, like that's not inherently wrong. Because I am a married man, thank the Lord, right?
Yes,
and I waited 31 years to get married, okay? And I'm going to enjoy every year after that. All right? If you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, you don't have to say no more. We got it.
So, no, I don't think that is it. I don't even know where it was going with that. I kind of got excited talking about marriage. Yeah. But the point is, no, I don't. If you do a song like that, I'm not mad at it. That's why I said I don't know, because I don't even know the song Neighbors Know My Name.
Question.
But if it's just talking about
where you been? How you don't know that song?
Listen, Miles.
I'm sorry.
I listen to the same 5 artists every day. And I am the happiest person that I know. Okay?
The song was big, though.
Truth, Lauryn Hill, Michael Jackson. Who else I listen to? Will Smith.
It's crazy. Will Smith. Like
Truth, Lauryn Hill, Michael Jackson, Will Smith. I don't know. That's about all I need, really. I don't really need nothing else.
But, okay, what about sexually explicit?
Yeah, it's too much.
Wait, what you mean sexually? Wait, I listen to sexually explicit? I'm married.
Nah, it depends.
I mean, because at what point does
it do depend. I done heard some nasty stuff. I'm just
from music to like audio porn.
Like, there's no reason.
Okay, yeah. If you would classify it as audio porn, that's just nasty.
And there's people that
there's plenty of that though.
Yeah, there's a ton of that.
Well, that goes against everything that's in God's kingdom.
I mean, that's a lot of mainstream music is like that though.
I'm saying if you are a Christian artist and you make a song that is not necessarily directly,
it don't have to be gospel.
It doesn't have to be gospel.
I mean, I've always,
but it's a love song. It's a surface level song about something that is maybe about you dealing with the situation, about moving away from somewhere, about your life growing up in your family, about a loved one who you care about or whatever. All of
getting back together.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that song.
That's never been a question for me.
So, well, I mean, nothing wrong with that chorus. I don't know what the song says. I really honestly don't know. But stuff like that, I believe is completely fine. But if you start to compromise your morals and what you're writing for the sake of $1 and you're saying you're a Christian, then that's where you can mess up.
Like, I got a producer I'm gonna name drop. Darkchild. Darkchild do everybody music. But he's a Christian. I think that's what you're talking about.
Yeah. Like, it was never a question like, can Christians make music that isn't, lift your hands. Like, Xavier Omar, clearly a Christian, clearly an R&B artist, and he got a song that he starts off saying this is for the adults, like this is for the married folks, and it sounds like
he's on the playlist also.
You feel me? It sounds like that kind of music, and I don't see anything wrong with that because I understand what he's doing. He's intentionally making love music that don't go against nothing, and even when he did get a little more graphic, for lack of a better term, it was clear this is a man who loves his wife, and that's what he's talking about.
Yeah.
It wasn't a thought of, I just picked this girl up and we had a good time. which is very different from a lot of the music. So that's what I was asking about.
Well, I think we're all in agreement. If it goes directly against God's word, then we're not into it.
I got a question. This might be left field because I just started thinking about it right now.
What's good?
Where we going?
So there's people that I know or people that I've heard talk on social media or different places, pulpits, wherever, all around in Christendom, that are so far against, like, y'all talking about the sex, blah, 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 right? And I'm just like, for those people, my question would be, in what context or when are you going to tell your children, or how am I supposed to gain this knowledge before I'm married?
So when do we read the book of Songs of Solomon? After we married?
That's what I'm saying.
Is it forbidden until then?
That's what I'm saying. So the people who are so far against love making music, because there's such thing as tame love making music.
There's some tame stuff on it.
There's tame love making, even just, you put on some nice soft saxophone music, with some candles lit.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? They're like, nah, don't you cut that saxophone stuff on. That's gonna put you in the mood. I'm just like, yeah, if it puts me in the mood to commit adultery because I'm doing something wrong, that ain't got nothing to do with the music. That ain't got nothing to do with the music. That got everything to do with me.
Yeah, that's on the inside of you.
Exactly. It's like, ain't no music about to provoke me to just, start doing crazy stuff unless crazy stuff is already in me.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
I think those kind of people never accepted the fullness of Christ.
Woo! Talk about it.
That's my personal thought.
That's a great way to say it.
They never accepted the fullness of Christ.
They're still being legalistic.
Yeah.
In order
Listen,
to make
God wants us to enjoy life, which is why I said, like, making a song about sex in and of itself isn't a problem to me. Making a song about love isn't a problem to me. And that's why that's not what I was talking about. Those people need to understand that this is something that God gave us that He wants us to enjoy. Mm-hmm. And you have to understand that you can enjoy it. So there should be a much more safer introduction to this topic than most of us are getting these days.
Exactly.
So that should happen, and then there should be complete exploration after you enter into marriage.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say this. I've talked to people who talked about purity culture in the church and stuff, where it's like sex is bad, and then they got married and they were never comfortable having sex because they were always taught sex is bad. Mm-hmm. And we've got to not teach sex is bad. Sex outside of God's covenant is wrong and is bad, and it leads to consequences. And that's another thing. God only says stuff is bad because He knows what it's going to lead to.
Bro,
you know you about to have 5 baby mamas and not there for your kids.
Are strictly out of sex.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
How many problems can you name? How many people are broke right now because they had decided to have sex?
Yeah, but let me get back to it. But we've got to stop saying sex is bad, because that really messes people up mentally. And then they get married and now they can't be there for their partner, or they can't even fully enjoy sex themselves because they were taught sex is bad instead of sex outside of God's will is wrong and it is bad. But when you do it in God's will, it's great. Like, when God saw Adam, He was like, it's not good for man to be alone. He made Eve. But He also made Eve with the parts so Adam can have sex.
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? Like, God knew what He was doing.
Accidental?
They didn't just stumble across sex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So we got to stop framing it that way. And I think once we frame things in the correct way, I also think that will draw more people to Christ. Because they'll be like, you know what? Y'all not crazy. Y'all actually making sense. Because I always heard sex was bad and I just couldn't put my brain around it. But when you tell me sex outside of God's will is bad and God knows what He's doing, then I can...
Even better, sex is good. Let's start with
good.
Sex is
Sin
good.
is bad.
Sin is bad, and there's a way you should do this that is better for you and for everybody else.
Yeah.
It's real simple. Everybody understands that sex is a very I don't know the right word, but you gotta approach it accurately. Everybody knows if you don't approach it accurately, the consequences can be devastating. We all are aware of this, but for some unknown reason, that's not the way that a lot of people have been presenting it. Like, this is an amazing thing, but you have to be careful with it. Yeah. We have to know you have to be careful with it. And there is one way that is absolutely, without question, better than every other way of approaching sex. Exactly. And that is inside the confines of marriage. There's no questions. That is the best, safest way for you, me, and everybody around us. Mm-hmm. And if we don't understand that, that's how sex ends up keeping people from all kinds of stuff or putting you through all kinds of stuff.
Exactly.
And it's not just sex. It's anytime you have a relationship outside of God's will, there's going to be negative consequences.
For sure.
Like, I'm not saying you can't make it work,
mm-hmm.
but you just opening up yourself to negative consequences. Like, I've come to understand, like, God knows what he's doing. He's trying to show, he's just like anybody who's got a kid. You're like, son, I've been there before. I'm trying to tell you, like, what's the best way to do it. And then we'd be like, nah, God, you know, I'm going to do it this way. And then we have to deal with the consequences. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I know, I said it.
Come on, man. This guy. But I got another question.
How much time we got?
Have as much time as you need.
How much time has it been?
About close to an hour.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, good.
Is revenge worth it?
Well, since we've done all this Christian talk, I'm just go ahead and say vengeance is mine, said the Lord. And I'm going to stay right there because they're not calling me hypocrite today. No, I'm just kidding. What do you mean by revenge? Like, I need scenarios.
I don't have a scenario. That's just the question.
Because, like, we play Madden and I lose. You got to run that back. You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta run that back. But in other places, no. And just because it just happened with Lil Durk, you know, Lil Durk just got picked up by the feds for you know, murder for hire,
witches.
But he was on was it $1 million worth of game?
Yeah.
He was on there, and dude was telling him, he was like, "Hey, I hope y'all put all that nonsense to the side." And he was saying, like, I had to forgive my brother's murderer. Because if I didn't, I wouldn't be able to take care of my brother's daughter today. And looked like he didn't put it aside. Yeah. So, yeah, you got to think of the consequences of the revenge. Like, if the consequence of revenge is I'm just going to lose another game in Madden, it might be worth it, right? But if the consequence of revenge is I'm going to go to jail for the rest of my life, I'm going to have to let that slide. It
goes back into that, like I said, what we said earlier. It's just like if we have God-centered or Christ-central mindsets, then it's just like you understand that this is something that's out of my hands.
Yes.
Like I can't go. Only thing I can do is provide justice on the legal front, and like if I can find out who did this or whatever, make sure that they, you know, are punished to the extent of the law best way possible. But I'm not going to take it into my own hands to do that. I can take it into my own hands to an extent.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I can give them a stern talking to. You know, I feel like, you know, let them know how what they did made me feel. You know, hit them home where it really hurts. You know what I'm saying? But like to go and do the eye for an eye thing is like, nah.
And then Kendrick got a song. It's something like, if somebody killed my son, they gonna be burying their son or something. I forget how it goes. Something like that. Like, yeah. Then you've weighed the options and you said, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I feel about vengeance. After you weigh the options and you think they're worth it, yeah, because I can imagine if someone, you know, kills someone's son, I can see them, like,
wanting to.
Yeah. They like, listen, they will gladly do their 25 to life, you know? So I can see that. Is it right? No, but I understand it, right? But...
So,
revenge is all
next question, and I was going to change the topic completely, but is it okay to let anger guide your decisions?
Once again, we talk, it's all situational. It's not a blanket statement. Here's why. Let's say I'm playing basketball, I didn't make the basketball team. I'm upset. I'm in that gym every single day, like Kobe Bryant, until I come back and I make the team.
Like Jordan.
Yeah, that was Jordan actually. Yeah. You know, so that's your anger and your pride probably got you in there, but you know, you consider the consequences, it kind of worked out for you. You know? Because the Bible don't say don't have anger, it say be angry and sin not. So, yeah, it can guide your decisions as long as they don't guide you to sin. Yeah. Shit might be what you need.
Any response to something, or like, because anger typically is a response to something. Like, you don't just, anger just doesn't well up out of nowhere. Like, it's there's a source for it. There's a source for me, and it's just it really trains you like what to do with that energy, what to do with that anger. Like that's what the word tells you, where to target it, and then how to allow it to dissipate if you target it properly. But what people have an issue with is not so much of like anger can guide some of your decisions, but what decisions you end up making because of anger is the more important thing. What type of decision you're making. So, you know, if you're making a terrible decision because of anger, then you probably shouldn't feed into it. But if you're making a decision that's going to cause you to change something for the better, or cause you to maybe get on somebody like your child or something like that, like, hey, I need you to understand this because you went outside too late and I thought I lost you and I'm upset about it because I told you not to do this. But I need this anger in me needs to reflect so you can see how much it bothered me and how serious this thing is.
That's fact.
So my decision to talk to you in an angry tone and a voice is actually effective because it's relaying to you the communication of like, hey, that's not something that you can do. I could come back tomorrow after I calm down and never show you that I'm angry. Be like, hey, please don't do this. And then that's all. They don't think of it as a serious offense or anything like that. But sometimes it warrants
sometimes
that.
You gotta get your little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
I be doing that.
So
you enjoy being a dad, don't you?
I do.
You've been waiting to tell somebody what to do his whole life.
I had Josiah up against the wall like this.
That man came in good, man. Come on,
they gonna pin a baby up against the wall.
I just want him.
You just want him to understand, like, you think you're, you're coming in here running things.
Nah, so like
crazy. That's crazy. Man, he can't get past.
I mean, disciplining him now
so
that he don't get shocked when he gets disciplined. Like he's already used to it. You know what I'm saying? I be like, did you just hit my wife? Huh? You just hit my wife?
Pop,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. So that way, he don't. He already used to discipline. He gonna train him right up in the way he should go. And I'm starting right now. I be getting him though.
That's hilarious. I got a question. How old were you when you realized that you wanted to have children?
Probably about 12 for me. Because I remember that's when I started naming. I started coming up with the name of my daughter.
Olivia?
Yeah. I think I was about 12. I was in junior high. Yeah. But that's just because I come from a big family. And I saw my parents, and I was like, okay, run it back. Not so many kids, about half the amount of kids they had. But, like, I liked what they had. I liked the dynamic that they had, and so.
It wasn't until, probably, high school or something like that. Yeah, maybe, 15, 16. When you start to like girls a lot. I always had girlfriends and stuff even before that.
Me too. That's good.
I mean, I had girlfriends from kindergarten.
I almost name dropped one.
Goodness
gracious. Yeah, man, listen. I had a girlfriend probably every year of school.
Golly.
A new one for him. That's fourth grade, that's third grade.
That was just
both of those are fifth grade.
Yeah, a lot of it was just imitation.
Superficial.
Superficial stuff when you're younger. But then, I didn't really start thinking about kids and stuff like that until I was maybe 16, 17.
I don't think I really thought about kids until I was mad at my daddy one time. I was like, I ain't gonna make my kids experience. That's probably the first time I thought. That's why I asked. That's probably the first time I thought about I ain't gonna do this to my kids one day. I don't think I really thought about me having children until dealing with that.
Yeah, I've always thought about having kids, but actually having them is completely different from anything you can imagine. Yeah, the experience of having a kid and being responsible for them. You're responsible for this creature. And you better not mess it up,
Yeah.
There's nothing like having a kid.
Yeah,
I love my little boy though.
Part.
I love my daughter.
Sounds scary.
But
it is, man. For me, I thought I was gonna have all my kids by 25, and I'm just I'm so glad I didn't.
Bro, I thought I was getting married at 21. All the kids by 25 and retire by 30. That was the plan.
That's wild.
Man, that's tough.
I'm 33. Yeah. I gotta go to work on Monday. That was the plan, though. Shit.
Yeah,
Speaking of, something we haven't touched on. We're supposed to touch on this before. Speaking of fathers, big change, big shifts, major segue here. But LeBron James and LeBron James Jr.
I'm gonna let y'all have this one.
Stepped on the court for the very first time in the NBA. A father and son got to play.
Beautiful.
How y'all feel about it?
It was beautiful,
Man, that's awesome. That's gotta be for LeBron. That's gotta be like greatest moment of all time for him.
It was beautiful
Because for somebody who loves the sport of basketball as much as he does, has basically built his whole family and success because of the game of basketball at the highest level, and then now his son is now being able to be at the highest level with him and actually do that with him, which has never happened before in the history of the NBA. It's got to be incredible.
It's beautiful. There's certain things I love about LeBron. I love the fact that he's a family man. You don't hear about a bunch of side women, and I'm not saying he would be less of a man if something ever come out, but I do love the fact that he's a married man. He has a family. I love the fact that he's there for his family. And I love the fact he's so talented that he can get his son a job. That's incredible.
Yeah.
That is pretty awesome.
Because he definitely got his son.
Got his son that job.
Now I'm gonna get into the part that most people ain't gonna really like. Bronny James is lucky his father is who he is, because if he wasn't, I 100% guarantee this man would not be in the league. Now, he still has to have a certain amount of talent to even get to this. So I believe he has
talent.
He has NBA talent capabilities. He is capable, right? Body size, athleticism, experience in the game. He may have a better mental, part of the game. Of course, he's got things to learn. But to be in the position he's in is strictly because his dad is who he is. And
I'm not mad at LeBron for it.
And let's just be honest about this too. It has to be like a LeBron caliber type player, which is probably one of two caliber players.
Oh yeah, nobody else will get
ever,
that.
right? Yeah. Because as good as Kevin Durant is, his son isn't getting in there for free.
Yeah.
Right? Kevin Durant might be. He probably could.
No, but you have to be more than talent.
Yeah, you
gotta have that kind of draw on the.
It would
league.
have to be if Steph Curry. played
Steph Curry probably be the. I would say as far as popularity and stuff now. Yeah.
That's what.
And I say that
that's
because
type of pool you have to have.
Steph Curry took a franchise that was known for being terrible to being one of the most
elite franchises.
Yeah, right. So. He financially, Steph Curry.
Were they really terrible
things.
before him? No.
Yeah.
They didn't win since 75.
They were known for being really bad.
That's pretty bad.
They were good. They had some decent years, playoff years.
They had
they had playoff years. They weren't the Sacramento Kings.
They had 2 decent years.
Yeah. Okay. They're not. They weren't the Clippers.
Yeah. Oh no, they weren't the Clippers.
There's that.
And the Kings.
There's not a lot of people that are the Clippers.
Yeah.
Yeah, did they get their new stadium yet?
Yeah,
they did. It's amazing.
Nice?
Yeah,
I heard it was
pretty
nice.
crazy.
I haven't seen it though.
It's incredible.
It's pretty crazy. But I think it's one of the most amazing
traffic,
things. Absolutely, traffic in LA will never.
It's about
be
to
decent.
be crazy, and especially right now. World Series is going on right now. Basketball's back. Football. Now you got 2 basketball stadiums.
Yeah, the traffic in LA is never getting better.
It's crazy right now. It's got to be bad.
Yeah,
But I think for LeBron, it's one of the most amazing things. If I'm strictly looking at him, I say congratulations, LeBron James.
Awesome,
because that's fire. As a Laker fan, I have a totally different perspective. I don't know who we would have picked, but I feel like we wasted a draft pick. I don't even think he's on the active roster.
It was a money move.
Yeah, he's not on the active roster right now. He's already down in the G League, I believe.
Nah, I think they're gonna go. I think they said it's 5 games that he'll be there, and then he'll be in the G League after that.
Yeah, they could have drafted somebody that they actually thought could have participated, and if that person didn't make it, they can say, okay, you need more development to the G League, you go. But that's not the route that they went. And as a Laker fan, I want to see us win. I like us winning, and I don't think that's
not necessarily a winning move, but that's a move that
we stopped making winning moves when we picked up LeBron.
Nah, I wouldn't say that.
Yes, I would. You don't have to, because we haven't won since we got him. And don't you dare tell me about that bubble. I don't care about that bubble.
Hold on, man. You guys are ridiculous.
I don't care about that bubble.
First of all, were we not going to win the championship that year?
There's a possibility. But we'll never know.
We'll never know. But guess what we did do? We actually won.
Okay.
No matter the
we got the bubble ring.
Hold on,
we
wait.
got the bubble ring.
We got the bubble ring. Everybody, hold on. First of all, everybody had to deal with
Dude, Jeff Teague was averaging like 45 points in the bubble.
No, but TJ Warren was.
Close enough.
Yeah. Who else was killing in the bubble? Jamal Murray was killing the bubble.
Yeah.
But not the Lakers. Who else?
I'm not saying
Jimmy Butler was killing in the bubble.
I'm not saying that the
Butler was
bubble
crazy.
was
Everybody,
easy.
listen.
Jimmy Butler took the team to
Everybody
the
had to deal with it. Everybody had to deal with it.
I-
That's just like saying,
I think you get
no,
it
but this is
misconstrued.
weird. This is weird. That's just like saying Kobe scored 81 points, but he scored on the Toronto Raptors. Who cares?
No, let me break this
It's
down.
the Raptors.
No, let me
If he would have scored that 81 on the Celtics, then it would have meant more. It would have meant something.
I would
Let me
never say
hear
that.
it
Hold on,
I would
wait,
never
no,
say that.
I don't care. Well, let me finish. Let me finish this point. Because the circumstances are what they are, it is what it is. First of all, for the Kobe thing, right? It's just a sub argument, but it doesn't matter. You're playing against an NBA team. These are people who get paid to play basketball for a living.
agree.
Their whole life,
100%.
they've all
He
played, so
dropped
they all
81
have the
on the Raptors.
capabilities to.
And Jalen Rose was there too.
Jalen Rose got dropped off
Yeah.
on, right? This is the thing. Everybody who went into the bubble dealt with the same situation, same thing. So, if anything, if the playing field was even.
I'm not.
It was probably more even than it's ever been.
He's arguing with himself because
It doesn't matter.
I'm not arguing.
But you're not going to do. Listen, you've already argued because you said the bubble. You don't count the bubble as a championship. It absolutely is a championship because of circumstances what they were. If it was just something to make the Lakers situation easier and not anyone else's.
Did they put a bubble on the ring too? A bubble on the ring?
Sure, why not?
Okay, but no, let me tell you what I was saying.
Go ahead.
I'm not saying that it was
whack argument.
easier or anything like that. I never said that.
Okay,
like
so how's it being discredited?
This is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Bro, it was nothing like the experience for us like it would be winning in Staples Center. That's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't win our championship. We won the bubble ring in Orlando. It felt like NBA tournament.
They won the in-season tournament.
That's what it felt like. It felt like a tournament.
What did the world feel like at that time?
Exactly. Everything was different. So you agree with me. It's a different type of championship. You agree with me. I'm not saying it's an easy championship or anything.
But you just discredited that it was. Oh, don't talk about the bubble ring.
It's not the same type.
I wasn't going there.
It's different.
This is what I'll say.
It's different, bro. You did not feel the same way.
Of course
on
not.
that championship as any other Lakers championship, bro.
If they would have, you're right. I wouldn't have felt it if there was no bubble. If they would have won that, it would have been a different championship because that's the first one I'm seeing without Kobe winning, right?
That's a fact too.
So it would have felt different anyway.
But it's still not the same as watching the confetti in the Staples Center and
I'm watching
the numbers
on TV.
and the Raptors and everything. It really felt
Let me tell you how I feel.
It felt like a tournament, bro. It did not feel like NBA.
This is how I feel, though. I personally feel like this
tournament.
about LeBron coming to the Lakers. One, we gave up way too much stuff after he came. Way too many players, assets, draft picks, all that stuff to get Anthony Davis. I think we gave up way too much. And two, I feel like we had the bubble is, I feel like, its own separate thing. I don't know what to call it, but it's really its own separate thing.
It was an NBA tournament. That's what it was.
Leonard, got it. All I'm saying is its own separate thing.
Did he just try to shit
Other
me?
than that season, which was his second year with the Lakers.
I'm going to get my belt.
Other than that year, which was his second year with the Lakers, so his first year and every year other than that, I feel like it's been a failure. I feel like we missed the playoffs.
I don't think we went past the first round.
No, we did. We went to the Western Conference Finals one year, but even that year...
Oh, that's pretty good.
But wait,
I'm not mad at that.
This is how I feel about that year. We were in the play-in tournament that year. That was the very first year of the play-in tournament.
Dang, that's pretty bad.
We were in the
But we was probably there
play-in.
because of injuries, though.
I don't care the reason. I watched that season, and we weren't a great team that season.
Okay, what point are we making in regards to this?
Just that I feel like we have not been nearly as successful as we should have been.
Listen.
I can explain us not being successful Kobe's last couple years. He wasn't playing. LeBron is playing and playing great. Where are the wins?
I don't know what y'all here to listen to right now. This is just crazy. First of all, as much as I love Kobe Bryant, he's my favorite player of all time, bar none. Will not be replaced by anybody. I don't care. I don't care if LeBron scores another 40,000.
And I agree with that.
He's not going to be my favorite player of all time. It's going to be Kobe. He's going to be the greatest Laker of all time, in my opinion. Let's just get it out of the way. Kobe Bryant was getting dropped off, and he was scoring so many points. It didn't matter. He had a terrible team. They were losing. Okay, at parts of his career where he was healthy, or at least healthy enough. But was Kobe ever really truly always healthy? No. Okay, he's
I'm
Kobe.
going to address that. Continue.
But anyways, we lost, and there was not successes there. Okay, right. When we got LeBron, first of all, we
missed the playoffs.
We missed the playoffs, but I don't think anybody's expectation was, at least me, because I'm a realistic NBA basketball watcher. Okay, he's not coming here and we're winning championship.
I thought we would make the playoffs.
Listen, we had a young core. We didn't have any. Like when he first got to look at the roster. What was his roster when he first got to the Lakers?
Lonzo Ball,
Brandon Ingram.
Hey, Lakers made the playoffs until Lonzo got hurt. I just want to throw that out there. Continue.
First of all, we had a bunch of young talent. We were not going to win anything.
We were going to make the playoffs.
It was all set up to get a trade. So at first, we were trying to get Paul George. From what I heard, Paul George, he was too scared. He didn't want the pressure. He didn't want to play with LeBron. He don't want the pressure, right? And rightfully so. Paul George, shout out to Paul George. He's just not that guy, okay?
I like PG-13.
PG is great. He can be that guy. His mentality just doesn't match up with the skill level to be that guy. Even though he has all the skill level to be the guy. But anyway, it was a setup for LeBron to come there and to make big trades. That's what LeBron brings anywhere. It didn't matter what team he went to. He was going to lose the first season unless he went to a team that already had a super good core, and there was no way that was going to happen because they're going to pay. They got to pay him to get there. So it was all set up to get somebody like Anthony Davis to build upon that and be there for a couple years before they can actually win, which is exactly what happened.
Yeah,
that 2020 bubble season
was a great season.
That team was a great team.
They was on track.
Absolutely.
They were one of the top two teams in the league before we went into lockdown. Then COVID hit, and we still did what we did. And
changed up everything.
And still did what we did.
And it was a good season.
So, you can't discredit that championship. I don't care what you say. Although it is a different situation. It's a different situation.
We agree. I don't know why you disagree.
I'm sorry, bro. Because everybody always asks that. The asterisk.
Agree.
The asterisk is like, oh, they were in the bubble. I'm just like,
we
okay,
agree.
Sure.
It's a different championship. We agree they won a different championship.
Nah, they just won a championship.
They won a championship, but it felt different.
Listen,
it felt different for the fans, but it was. It was a different situation, just like every year.
It was a COVID year.
Every year is a different situation.
At the end of the day, AD felt.
We didn't have play-ins before. That's a different season.
Anthony Davis failed the Lakers.
Yes, Anthony Davis failed the Lakers. What do you mean?
Nobody's failed anybody.
Anthony Davis has failed the Lakers. Anthony Davis. Don't know if he's going to play or not.
Wait a minute. How many active players in the league right now have championship rings? Besides, like, recent teams, right? Like, big name players, right? That have rings. There's not a ton of big name players that have rings.
AD have rings.
AD has a ring. Okay?
AD,
how long was he on the team before he got a ring?
I'm doing it again.
How long was he on the team before he got a ring?
A bubble ring?
How long was he on the team before he got a ring?
Was it a year?
Wow. So you're telling me that's his...
And
if he never wins again, that's a success.
And
how many rings
downhill ever since? Why can't we just explain it to the world? Downhill. We won during COVID and ain't won since.
Let me tell you why I'm disappointed with LeBron on Lakers. Okay, because I can address. I can address exactly what you're saying.
There's no way.
No, not for real.
Kobe would have
won. When Kobe was with the Lakers, he had 1 year that he missed the playoffs. Other than that, it didn't matter how bad the team was. Kobe was winning just as many games.
Kobe won
by himself.
Sasha
with Luke Walton as LeBron won like last year.
Jordan Farmar.
Wait, when LeBron missed the playoffs with the Lakers,
He had a much better team than
Did he not get hurt? Did he not get hurt that season?
He did.
How many games did he play that season?
He played a lot of games that season. He didn't time, but he came back. He said, "I'm going in a playoff mode." He said, "I'm going in playoff mode."
But he had to work from behind.
He didn't win after he went to
the inferior team.
But wait, let me finish though.
Which is probably the worst team that he's ever played with, like talent-wise and cohesiveness-wise.
Here's the thing though. Here's my problem. Here's my big problem. It's because not even that season. Even though I'm disappointed with that, especially since LeBron is the one who said he's going into playoff mode, and we couldn't win games even against bad teams with LeBron in playoff mode. His words, he couldn't win. But
got you.
It didn't matter who was on Kobe's team. If he had one good player, Kobe was doing a lot of winning until Kobe got hurt. Even the year where we had Dwight Howard and Steve Nash, everybody was on the team, and all those players got injured, Kobe balled out and won a bunch of games. There was no question the Lakers were going to be a good team. LeBron James has had stacked rosters on the Lakers for almost his entire time, except for the very first year.
No.
The Lakers aren't doing a lot. Yes, the second year Anthony Davis came. The year after that, it's the year after the championship. The year after that, I forgot who they have. That's some dope folks. And then they got Russell Westbrook. And then they let go of Russell Westbrook. And Austin Reeves. And what's that? D'Angelo Russell. He has his third and fourth scoring options are dudes that average like 17 points a game. Teams don't have that on their roster.
Well, maybe it's the coach's fault. I don't know whose fault it is.
All I'm saying is it doesn't matter who you're blaming.
Okay, you can be
the Lakers are not winning the way they should with the amount of talent that's on their team. There's no two ways about it. You can't tell me there's another team with 2 top 5 players or top 10 players who's going to miss the playoffs or be in the play-in.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, we should be like the Celtics right now or something.
So listen to this though. When you play basketball, there's more than 2 players on the team.
There's
when like
it's Kobe,
12 of them. All right, so that's
Jordan Farmar.
Jordan Farmar played a
Sasha
role. Sasha Vujacic played a role.
Championship.
Listen,
Slava Medvedenko
played a role.
Championship.
Robert Horry played a role.
No, we're not talking about. No, we ain't talking about. Don't put Sasha Vujacic and Robert Horry.
Rick Fox played a role.
Those good players. We talking about.
Nah, that's just players that you're more familiar with.
Let's be honest. Who said Sasha was a good player? Who?
Sasha was a good role player. Sasha was not trash. Steve Blake.
Steve Blake was a good role player. I give you Steve Blake.
Only Kobe could have won with that team.
Listen.
Only Kobe could have won.
LeBron wins with that team too.
Get out of here.
Listen.
LeBron probably wins with that team.
Listen.
That team wasn't terrible.
Only Kobe wins.
No.
With that. First of all, LeBron couldn't win with that team because they had 2 7-footers who would have been clogging up the lane for him.
Listen.
And LeBron can't do what LeBron does best, which is drive to the hole. Because ain't nobody guarding Andrew Bynum out at the 3-point line.
Absolutely.
Andrew Bynum wasn't playing. He was hurt. His knees were made of glass.
Like I said, only Kobe could have won with that team. Dang, I made a good argument right there. I felt that.
Nah.
I'm tired of basketball.
But listen.
Let's do something else.
But listen. We're going to end it right here. Because, first of all, to call winning a championship within your first
that was him
2 years on a team a disappointment is crazy to me.
That was him. I didn't call the championship disappointing. I said his entire tenure with the Lakers.
My thing is this: winning a championship in the NBA is very hard to do. More hard now, arguably, than it probably has ever been. Okay, there was. I would argue that there was way more trash teams in certain areas.
I don't agree.
I agree completely. There's way more trash teams in certain areas than there is now. Okay, now of course. A lot of teams right now are trash purposefully because they're trying to get the lot. They're trying to.
I disagree so much with what he's saying.
But to win a championship in 2 years and you say it's a disappointment is crazy to me. Secondly, if LeBron doesn't win any more championships for this Lakers team and he provides a winning atmosphere, like I said, he's only had.
We don't have a winning atmosphere. Is my point.
Wait a minute.
We had a winning season.
Okay, wait a minute. You saying we had one winning season because we won a championship that season?
What I'm standing on business.
So like that's the only season that counts as a winning season. We can't just lose. We can't just lose to a better team, right? We can't just lose to the Nuggets because they're better than us.
Listen, I don't know if you've been a Laker fan as long as I've been a Laker fan. We do a lot of winning as Lakers. It's like 3 years,
bro.
championship.
The last time we won a championship before 2020 was what? Was when?
2010.
That was 10 years of what?
Losing.
Who was on that? Who was the star player on that team?
Don't you dare.
Hey,
you ain't got to do that to make a point.
Listen,
wait a minute.
You ain't got to do that to make a point. I know what you're trying to say.
I will not stand for this.
So you're saying we
Stop it.
So that 10 years was a culture of
this is
losing
why I
before
won't,
LeBron got there too,
No,
right?
this is why I won't stand for it. This is
Was
my
it not?
point.
I hear what you're saying.
No,
Was it not?
Stop it. Stop.
We ain't gotta say it. We ain't gotta say it.
2011. What did we do 2011?
If he wasn't playing,
What did we do 2011? The year after we won a championship. What did we do?
we lost in the
First
second round.
No, it was first round. The Mavericks, right?
Second round.
The second round. We got swept.
Got swept.
It was embarrassing.
Yes.
Okay, how do you feel about that season?
That season was not a
That was
success.
a terrible
I'm
season,
disappointed.
Well,
We were the
man
champs
looked
and
at
we
the second
lost.
round and he said it was terrible.
Right? Yeah.
So I didn't say all that.
Listen, if you make it to the playoffs on a freshly new team, a team that's probably not even fully built yet around you. Now I'll say, if we have a bad season this year, then I got a problem with this year because we kept a lot of the core, the good things about our team. We added on things that can make it better, as far as coaching staff and things like that. So this is more of a implication of that. What we did last year should be celebrated because we made major trades late in the season, won throughout the second half of the year. Literally, we're the best team in the NBA in the regular season.
In the second round.
It doesn't matter. Listen, it doesn't matter. No. It absolutely doesn't matter. For you to have that type of success after a major trade and moving people over and winning and getting to the place that we weren't supposed to be there. That's the thing. When you get used to a culture of we got to win everything in order for anything to count, you don't look at small wins to realize this is what's building up another win, another championship season. We can win a championship now because of what we did last season.
If we win a championship now, I'll give you your credit.
I think we do.
If we are in the play-in again, if we are out in the second round
then
again,
it's an unsuccessful season. Because we don't have any excuse.
But this is my point though. When Kobe was healthy and had a single good teammate, remember Lakers had a trash roster.
Smush
He
Parker.
got one good teammate. They went to the finals. Kobe.
What was the one good teammate?
Pau Gasol.
That was it. There was nobody else good on that team.
What? Lamar Odom?
Don't say it like that.
No, listen.
Don't say it like
this
that.
is my point. Lamar Odom is a good player, but there's a reason he's never been an All-Star.
Okay, there's a
And
reason.
also,
and that
but wait,
reason is
but wait.
Kobe being Bryant. That's the reason why he's never been in the playoffs.
No,
I mean, never been
He wasn't. He was a good player on the Clippers, and he was the main guy. Was never an
All
All-Star.
right, guys. This isn't first take.
Yeah,
But listen,
we're done.
listen,
We're
no,
done.
This,
We're done.
let me say this and be. Let me
All
say this
right,
and be
we're
done.
We're done.
There is literally a difference between when Kobe's healthy with a decent teammate or a couple decent teammates.
Mm-hmm.
We know for a fact what happens. The only times the Lakers were not winning with Kobe is when he had zero help or he wasn't playing. That's literally it. You cannot ever say Kobe had a Anthony Davis top player and he wasn't winning. You cannot say he had an Anthony Davis and a Russell was D'Angelo Russell and he wasn't winning. You can't ever do it. But you can do that
That's
now.
a great point.
That
if
makes
you're
no
just
sense.
very
to me.
surface level in your thinking, but we'll leave it at that.
Please and thank you.
I can go deeper, but we want to leave it at that.
That's a real surface level.
We
take.
can go deeper, but we're gonna leave it at that.
Yeah, we'll leave it
Are
there.
we about to wrap it up?
Yeah, we're
Okay,
wrapping it up.
Before we do that though, I want to say this one thing. Did y'all see those people get mad at us about our Trump?
About Trump not being a dictator.
That's crazy.
Someone was like, some people don't need podcasts, and I said, and some people need dictionaries. Like,
Once again, we'll double down. Trump is not a
Not a
dictator.
Not a dictator.
Trump is a very polarizing figure. He says a lot of crazy stuff. A lot of things implement that he feels like he's the best candidate for
Everything in the world.
But,
yeah,
you know,
best golf player.
Exactly.
Best everything.
but he's not a dictator.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I just thought it was funny. I don't know if you guys
It's
saw
really
it.
hilarious. So today on my social media, I posted some stuff that was just saying like Kamala's not a communist. So
No.
stop. If you're a Republican, don't say stuff like that. She's not.
Communists
okay?
don't give small businesses $50,000 in
And she's
tax
not.
credit.
She's not a communist.
Well, it's
I
not
said
tax
Trump's not a
credit.
dictator. I said that Kamala actually is qualified. If you look at her resume, I don't know what more you need to do to be qualified
Yeah,
to
once
run
you
for
hit
president.
VP, you can pretty much.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I don't know why.
Makes sense. You know.
I don't know why people are saying she's not qualified. She's clearly qualified.
Yeah.
And after you actually win the presidency and people can point to good things you did as a president, I'm sorry, I have to admit, Donald Trump is qualified to be president. Mm-hmm. Like, we have to.
I mean, if Donald Trump was qualified, then Kamala's definitely qualified.
Yeah,
thank you.
If Donald Trump was qualified, she is overly qualified.
Exactly.
Absolutely. So, with that being said, we have to stop going to these extremes that are simply not.
That's the problem.
True.
The extremes are the problem. The extreme left and the extreme right. But honestly, most people aren't on the extremes. But that's all they listen to.
Yeah, but that's what they hear. So they believe the extremes of the other side.
That's what I'm saying. That's all they hear.
So it's a terrible thing. We can be honest. We really can be honest. Like again, I am not a Trump fan. Y'all heard me say this, how I feel about even being on this side or that side. But one amazing thing I think Trump's party is doing, I don't know whose idea it was, go to his TikTok. Some of his campaign is literally playing what the other person said, and then he comes on the end and says, "I'm Donald J. Trump." And
that's like the funniest stuff ever.
You don't have to lie about stuff. You don't have to do it. We can be honest about things and move forward.
Yeah, but if you come on the Three Good Guys page in the comment section, like, I'm gonna respond. I don't have to, and I don't respond angrily. I respond for entertainment, and then I'm gonna screenshot it, and I'm gonna send it to all my friends, because that's what I do. So,
and we're gonna work on keeping him from doing that.
Just to be aware, like, no, because they come on here and like, why do these guys have a podcast? Why are you watching? That's what I'm gonna do, and I enjoy it. But I do like, everybody that watches it, and I think everyone's free to have their opinion, even their opinion can be that we suck.
Their opinion can be that there's a dictator who's not dictating anything and who never did.
Not their fact. Not the fact. Yeah, absolutely.
For sure. That's crazy.
All right, let's get about here.
Yeah, that's it.
Go somewhere tonight. We're going out. I don't know where. Did y'all find a place?
We'll lab that.
We'll figure it out. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we appreciate y'all today. We appreciate y'all for watching, spending some time with us. Hope you got a good laugh, a little education, made you think something like that. But with that being said, this is the Three Good Guys podcast. Do us a favor, really big one. Hit that like and subscribe button. Again, we're doing giveaways.
We're like 27 people away from 200, I think.
Yeah, he wants to do a giveaway.
I've been posting it every single day.
I appreciate you.
I said I'm gonna post every day until we hit 200
we appreciate
subscribers.
you.
I actually recorded in the middle of us talking. That's why I have my phone on.
Appreciate it. Listen, we're doing giveaways. He wants to give something away at 200.
I think we're gonna do a $20 gas card.
Okay.
Or $20 Visa. You can do Visa still, right?
Yeah. Yeah, we can figure it out. Yeah. So we giving some money away apparently when we hit 200 subscribers, and when we hit 1,000 subscribers with vacation. Is that what it was?
Vacation. I thought it was good.
Free hotel stay somewhere. So y'all be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. With that being said, we're out of here. Y'all have a wonderful day.
That was showbiz.
All right, showbiz.
Showbiz.